Okay, so this is a photo stencil. So it's the same principle as your paper stencils, except this is transferred onto the screen using a photographic process and a photographic emulsion, which is the blue bit. So the emulsions, we put it in a trough and we coat the screen. That dries for a day, and then it becomes light sensitive, a bit like photographic paper, so that when it's then exposed to UV light, and we have this special light box, the emulsion hardens after 4 minutes in UV light. Apart from, if you imagine your paper stencil as a black and white acetate, and the bits you've cut out are the black bits, apart from where the black bits are on the acetate, which prevent the light from coming through and hardening this emulsion, it means that when we wash it after 4 minutes, we're left with these bits of screen, which are like the open bits of your stencil. This is exactly the same technique, but just with the photographic method of doing it instead. So you can see, you can get a lot of detail. This is a really old photograph, one of Annie's relatives, and she uses these and prints onto her canvases and then paints over it as well. So it's something that you'll try next year with Mike. So I've just taped it up quickly on this side of it. So this is the side you print on. So you've got the frame here kind of framing the ink. These are the ink. So these are left over from this morning. So obviously it'd be nice if you mix your own colours. Yeah. Right, so this is where it starts to get messy. So these are the squeegees. And you'll probably find they might need a bit of a wipe with paper towels. They might still be a bit wet from this morning. So it's completely different tools to everything that you've used so far. So squeegees are basically pieces of rubber, set inside metal or wooden sort of framed handles. And the ink itself is a mixture of this special screen printing medium and acrylic paint. And to get a nice, flat, even, opaque ink, it's basically half and half. Yeah, okay.
Guys, could you just stop what you're doing and come across and just have a look? If you want to record it, please have a record. Alright, just find some space.
So I'm just going to do a printing demo for you with a photo screen. Okay, so the ink is half of this with half acrylic paint and then really well mixed together. Obviously you can create your own colours using the kind of palette of colours that we've got. If you make it half and half, you just get a really nice flat matte colour. But if you use more of this and less acrylic and make a much looser mixture, then the colours become a little bit more translucent, so that if you do layer and overlap the images, then those colours will kind of bleed through each other, which is quite nice. So just half and half. There's some colours already mixed from this morning which you can use up, but obviously feel free to make your own as well. So the key to screen printing, to getting it right, to getting a good print, is not using too much ink and not using too little ink. So probably after the first couple of prints you do, you might get an idea actually of how much you need. This is quite a big image and it's very open at the bottom. So you just pour your ink on, and then obviously you're working in pairs, which is good. One of you needs to hold the screen down steady while the other pulls the squeegee down. So could you hold the screen for me? So just a bit of pressure, and then squeegee in both hands, and then at a bit of an angle, you basically just drag all the way down.
Wow.
And just do it once, and then obviously you've then got a squeegee covered in ink and you've got a screen covered in ink, and you're trying to keep all your work surface clean. So I'm just going to scrape it back into the pot so it doesn't drip everywhere. But obviously if you're carrying on printing, then you just keep using what's left on the screen. So you can see now why it's quite good to share a screen with someone who you know might use similar colours to you. because the colour kind of spreads around. Okay, so I'll just get rid of that. And then with your paper stencils, you're just going to have to be really gentle, especially with your first one when you lift, just in case you tear the paper by accident. Okay, so you lift away, and then you can see the print and you can see all the lovely detail that's in it as well. So that's one method of printing, just doing a straight kind of squeegee swipe. There's another technique that you can use. See, it's getting messy already. So putting your squeegee to one side, and if you want to play around with blending colours, I'm just going to dab some colour in there. These are always going to fall over because they're always big. Yellow. I'm going to dab a little bit of yellow as well. This might not be the thing to the full length of the screen. And either either using bits of mount board or again using the squeegee, you can just drag in different directions. Covering all the areas of your the open screen where you cut out. Obviously this means you might end up with too much ink like this. Don't worry if you do, because once you lift it away, you can see it kind of gives you different effects. But you can also see it's a bit thick, it's a bit lumpy. You want it nice and flat like this. So if your screen ends up being covered like this, just get the squeegee, just drag it all down to one end, and in fact you could then use that to then print again and keep going with it. You will find the ink is going to start to really build up. Plus you can't wash it in between changing colours because otherwise you're going to lose your stencil. We only wash these at the very, very end when the stencil's finished with, and you just have to peel it off and chuck it in the bin. So
it's best if you start with light colours first.
Yeah, if you start with lighter colours and then build up, try different effects. You might find that you're not putting enough ink on, or you're kind of putting enough, you think you're putting enough on, but once you get halfway down, there's nothing left to drag through. But there might be some left on your squeegee, so you could turn your squeegee around and then go back the other way. And just kind of help each other really. A bit of overprinting there. So you can do a little bit of repeat printing and play around with that kind of technique as well. And then we just clean everything at the end. Okay, so squeegees are all piled up over there.